Hi, I'm Matt from thelastdropofink.co.uk, and in this video, if you're watching us on YouTube, or in this podcast, if you're listening to us on iTunes, we give you the inside track on eBay, the new eBay, which has just been unveiled, and we look to see what this whole new buying experience means to us, not only as buyers, but also as professional sellers. We give you the inside track with the industry leading expert, Chris Dawson from TameBay, and we delve in deep in this hour-long session to see what it really means to us. We've got someone very special to join us today in this podcast or video if you're watching it on YouTube. He was the only person from the United Kingdom to be at the unveiling of the new eBay a week or so ago and knows the inside track on all the eBay changes and what's happening. Now, this isn't any person that gets invited to the eBay HQ. Our guest is co-founder and editor of TameBay, the #1 resource in the UK for marketplace and e-commerce news, and co-author of the hugely successful and now in its second edition Tools and Services Guide, and has written over 3,000 articles on TameBay, which is no small feat because I've only just topped 300. He's also appeared on BBC News 24, fighting our case along with 750,000 others in a petition to the EU Parliament to stop unfair use of competition rules to stop businesses from selling goods online. Almost one of the original power sellers, after starting his own business in 2004 underneath the name of MountComp, one of the most prolific posters in the power seller forums on the eBay UK site, and has finally got his 10 years of eBay underneath his belt. His name is Chris Dawson, and Chris, thank you ever so much for joining us to help us understand how deep these changes go.
Hi Matt and Dave, it's great to be with you today, and I'm really excited about these new changes. This really does mark a quantum leap in the eBay site and the way that, not so much for sellers in this case, but for buyers, the way that buyers will actually use the site and purchase. And let's face it, eBay have done an awful lot of changes over the last 5 or 10 years that have affected sellers, but this is the biggest change ever in the 17 years of eBay's history that is going to affect buyers, the products that they see, the way those products are presented, and how they actually purchase on the site in the future.
Also on the blog today, we've also got our resident expert, Dave Furness. Dave, would you like to say hello?
Hi, it's good to be here, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what Chris has got to say about the new eBay changes. As Chris has already said, it's been 17 years, and we've had the eBay updates, through the years, but this time it looks like this is the big one. So it'll be interesting to find out what's changing and how it could affect businesses online.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to be one of the biggest noticeable changes to the buyers on the front end, because it's pretty much all front-end changes, isn't it, Chris?
It is, and it starts from the eBay homepage and then goes through the site. So why don't we take a look at the homepage to start with?
Cool. So do you want to run us down from the top, Chris?
Yeah, I think that the first things to look at is obviously eBay had a new logo, which they announced a couple of weeks ago, but that went live on the site at the same time as these changes came into effect. And you'll notice there's a new eBay header. It's a slimmed-down header, and the only important thing I'm going to say about header is that it is now consistent. It's on all pages on the site. It doesn't change when you go from the home page to a search page to a help page to a view item page. It's now a consistent header across all eBay pages. But scrolling down, we've got our search box up front and center as expected. Yep. We've got the main categories down the side, and then next to the search button there's a drop down category search. There's a nice graphic in the center, which is actually at the moment 4 graphics in a rotation. But just start scrolling down the page and we get to the guts of the new eBay homepage, which is the feed. And this is what people are going to see when they come onto eBay. Now, Matt, you've already gone in and added some interests, and in a minute we'll have a look at what interests you've added and added some more. But the important thing for buyers is that these products we're seeing are actually products that Matt is interested in.
Yeah, and so sorry to steal the thunder, is that the new homepage is completely customized to me. I'm looking
And
at stuff which I'm interested in, or
and
whatever you're interested.
the great thing about it is it's totally different to my homepage. My homepage has got totally different products on it to what you've got, and pretty much everyone will have a unique homepage. No one will ever have the same homepage as someone else because everyone's got different interests.
Indeed. Sorry, Chris, just to jump in there. If we just quickly nip to the site as we've got it right now. So this is the ebay.co.uk homepage, and it's completely different.
Yeah, you've got this huge advert at the moment. It's for eBay and Nectar, which is understandable. It's a big deal for eBay UK. But that's a huge amount of space, and I've seen some of the outlets have taken over that space for an outlet advert.
Mm-hmm.
It's not actually...
Yeah, Soul Trade
much.
had one earlier this week.
Yeah, but it doesn't do anything for me. Then you've got some items you're watching, recently viewed, recent searches. Great, but I already know I'm watching those items.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got some more inspired by viewed items. We've got an advert. We've got a grab a bargain for items ending soon. And then we've got a load of stuff like the eBay for charity stuff and that. Some basically some eBay adverts. So this page isn't doing much for me at all. It's not giving me anything that I've either not already seen or not already looked at or not already bought. And the worst thing is, what I found on this page is when I've bought something, eBay showed me more of the same thing. I bought a new double bed on eBay a couple of weeks ago, and all eBay showed me was more double beds. Well, I'm sorry, I only need one bed. Show me some mattresses. Show me some curtains. Show me some bed linens. Show me a duvet cover. Show me some bedroom furniture like a chest of drawers or show me a bedroom light. Show me anything except what I've already bought.
Yeah, because eBay knows that you've been and bought that item, and also that a bed logic would dictate that a bed is a one-time purchase or once every couple of years, so that you would definitely be looking for accessories to go with the bed.
I've got to take exception there because you just said because eBay knows. At the moment, eBay doesn't seem to know. They seem to treat me as you bought a bed, therefore you're interested in beds. They don't show me the accessories. And that's the great thing about the feed, because if we flip back to the new eBay page, which is currently showing on the ebay.com site, we're looking at your feed. And when you've bought a bed, you can actually go in and edit your feed and say, look, I'm not interested in beds anymore. And you can add other things that you are interested in, like you could add the bed linen or the bedside light or the bedside cabinet or the curtains or whatever it is that you're now interested in.
And why don't we just do that now? So I'm going to quickly go and click edit my feed to the right, and I'm going to put bed linen as my search term, like so, and we'll look at those bits in a moment. I'm just going to hit follow for that and then go back to my feed. Is that I've now got bed linens appearing in my feed, like so.
And I think one of the important things to point out here is this is exactly how a feed should work. It should evolve over time. You should be able to add things as you get new interests and take them away as you lose interest in them. Once I've bought my bed, I'm no longer interested in beds. But hey, I might be interested in something for the garden or a new bike, or I might be looking for a new car. I may go and see a pop concert and suddenly say, okay, I've been to a concert, I want to follow that group or that singer. So I might be a Michael Jackson fan and put Michael Jackson in because I want to see what Michael Jackson memorabilia there is. It can evolve over time, and as your interests change, you might decide, you know what, I'm fed up with the Beatles, I've got enough Beatles stuff. I'm fed up with John Lennon, Paul McCartney. Let's get them out my feed and put someone else in my feed that I'm interested in now.
Indeed, and this feed it's like Pinterest, but purely for products, and Twitter with search terms and search results being brought back to a single page, just what I'm interested in, and I can customize my page so however I want it to be.
I've heard an awful lot of people say this is just like Pinterest, but there's one important difference. With Pinterest, you're pinning products and images and things that are of interest to you. And Pinterest is kind of past. That's what other people have done or what you've done in the past. The new eBay is a bit like Pinterest, but this is the future. This is what I may buy tomorrow or may buy the next week. And I don't even know what's going to be there next week because it's going to populate it with new products. and products that I've told eBay I'm interested in.
Exactly. So on my screen right now, we've got one new discovery, and if I click on that, then I'll get a new item appear. So there's a new patch which has just appeared in here, and it's always updating on there. Give it a couple more minutes, and next time an item's been added, then that will also appear on there. It changes all the time.
And the other thing that's great with this is if you start scrolling down the page, this page is infinitely scrollable. It will scroll for as long as eBay can find more products that match your interests. So we see some daily deals down the side because eBay is still going to promote the daily deals a little bit to us. But basically, this is stuff I'm interested in, and every time I get to the bottom of the page, eBay just adds some more products beneath them, so it keeps going down and down and down the page, and the page gets longer and longer.
I think mine's just run out, but then I've only got a few search spaces on there. But just coming back to the daily deals, if I just scroll back up to...
You've not run out. eBay have just found some new stuff for you.
Just going to focusing on the daily deals, whereas before that they had the focus on the homepage, is that now they're in the feed, but they're not where I expected them to be. When I first looked at this, I thought they'd be on the right hand side, or maybe the first 4 items, for example, in there, but they're not. They're right down in my feed. So I think eBay are expecting users to scroll in this feed every time they come here.
And not only that, but what I've noticed, because I've played with the feed quite a lot, is eBay, that there aren't that many daily deals showing, and as close as possible, they're matching the daily deals with the products I'm searching for. So I've not seen any fashion in my daily deal feed, because I've not indicated to eBay I'm interested in fashion.
Okay. So let's just scroll back, and we had a quick look a few moments ago, and again we can see the recent search terms, so we were looking for a coffee machine, for an example, a few moments ago, and a small image for a Samsung Galaxy item, and there are searches which we've just made are appearing in here. And if we want to edit our feed, we've got the edit my feed link, and you can see that I've chosen BDU, which is battle dress uniform, but if I wanted to choose a dress, for example, isn't that right, Dave? Sorry, I couldn't resist. You know it is. So I could then go and choose, just choose boots. Let's choose something a little bit more different. So I can choose boots, and so I'm going to want clothes, shoes and accessories, but I don't want women's accessories, and I don't want the wholesale. I only really want men's clothing. So I'm just going to go in here and untick all the other ones. I'll leave men's shoes on.
Yeah, there's actually a quicker way of doing this.
Go for it.
Which is, rather than unticking them all, don't tick it in the first place. If you just untick the clothes, shoes and accessories,
that's it.
Click the plus button to the side, and to expand the category, and then you can click just men's accessories or just men's clothing. So if you want to follow most of the categories, tick the top level. If you only want to follow a subsection, open up the category and then just tick the one that you're interested in.
Excellent. And I personally prefer, so if it's going to be a pair of some footwear, then I'll choose buy it now rather than an auction, because I'd want it there and then. And condition, I'd want new, and then price is almost irrelevant, so I'm then going to hit follow, and then let's just quickly go back and look. So that's been added. There it is. Oops. And that's been. Let's go back to my feed and see what the feed's now been and done. And we've got some very peculiar pictures in there.
You look good in there, Matt.
Indeed. When we got a pair of boots appeared in there, and there's another pair of boots on there. They're ladies, so and there's more ladies in there. Maybe because it's in the mixed lots, or maybe I wasn't drilling them down enough. But I think we get the point, is that you can filter and you can narrow the results down. And also eBay. Sorry, go on, Chris.
Something else you can do is if you just scroll back up to those ladies' boots, there's a cross. You can just tell eBay, actually, this pair I'm not interested in.
Oh, of course, we had that when we first looked at this, didn't we, Chris? When we had there was some postcards. So there's a book. No, I don't want the book. And when you start Xing these out, eBay kind of learned, because, like you said, with the cards, we were looking at some sporting stuff, and it was showing me some sporting cards. And first of all, it didn't quite know what I wasn't interested in, so it kept showing me them. And I don't know, but I think eBay thought I just wasn't interested in that team.
But when I'd X'd out a few, suddenly I started to see a lot less of those, and eBay kind of learnt that I really wasn't interested in football cards.
Indeed, and that's what I've got with it. So I had loads and loads of these pictures coming in. So it's got BDU written in it. And I went for about 8. I think when we saw your screen the other day, is that it actually went through and got rid of them quite quickly. But for me, it took about 20 clicks, took about 15, 20 of them for it to get the point. And that's the first one which I've seen in this list today, and I've been in there a few times. So eBay is learning what I like, and also crucially, well, I'm telling eBay what I do like, but crucially, it's also understanding when I don't like something either.
And I think something that's great about this is what we've got to remember is this is version 1.
Mm-hmm.
eBay have built this based on their existing technology. eBay have got lots of exciting stuff coming in the future, like technology from a company called Hunch, which they recently bought. Hunch was technology designed to have a hunch about what you might like based on what you've told them before and what other people that like your interest also like.
Mm-hmm.
So in the future, eBay can start building in a load of technology around this to actually start guessing what you might like based on what you've previously bought, what other people have previously bought that had similar interests, and they can start showing us stuff that I may be interested in when I've not even told them. I think that's really exciting what might happen with this in the future.
That is kind of scary.
It's like the next evolution of online shopping, isn't it? You don't have to look as hard as you used to do, or as we currently do. eBay's going to show you what you want to see.
But I think also eBay's next generation of search is going to be very different to the search we've got at the moment. Earlier today, Matt and I were doing a search for coffee machines, and I said to Matt, "Hey, coffee machines, why are there so many coffee machines in clothing?" And it turned out there's a whole load of T-shirts with coffee machines messages on. And I said to Matt, "Look, I can't believe it. In fact, we can see it there on your screen if you're watching this in video. There's 1,100 items in men's clothing for the word coffee machine." Now, eBay's next generation software is going to be smart enough to know that if I'm looking for a coffee machine, whether I'm actually interested in coffee machines or whether I'm interested in T-shirts with coffee machines on.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, it's not that smart, but the next generation of search, which is due out probably sometime next year, is going to be that much smarter that it will actually be able to double guess what I actually mean.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean is not the same as what you might mean, Dave, or what Matt might mean by that term. We may all search for the same thing, but have totally different items that we actually want to get to.
So you're saying eBay is going to sort of learn almost from our personality, from our past searches, what we're likely to be looking for, and then guess and try and guess right about what we are looking for, and that's going to be unique to every buyer.
Yeah, it'll mean that when you do a search on eBay, your search results will be very different from my search results, even if we search for the same item or the same search term.
Wow, that's going to be a game changer for sellers. How, in terms of how...
We'll look at that another time because that is very, very far into the future. That's not what's happening today.
Right. Yeah, the project's called Cassini, and it's been around for a while. Those developers have been locked away in the dungeons for a good couple of years now. So the output, I've seen hints of what that's going to be including. So that is kind of scary, and that's a topic for a different day. Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I think when that type of technology comes into my eBay feed, eBay will really be able to drill down and start showing me stuff that I'm really, really interested in that will get more and more relevant. I think that's the important thing to know, that no matter how good this is, and I think this is absolutely fantastic, it will only get better.
Mm-hmm. And this is the first time I've seen it properly, and it's so clever in how it's work. It's
and I think there's one other thing, or two other points I want to make. We'll come back to the second one, which is the menu. But the first point I want to make is, if you look at this feed, and this is a really scary point for the big sellers on eBay, I'm not seeing an awful lot of products from the big enterprise sellers shown to me. I'm not seeing tons and tons of fashion, which lots of the enterprise sellers are. Sure, we've got some boots there, but I'm seeing lots of items which are coming from private sellers. And you can tell that by the quality of the pictures.
Yeah.
So, not being rude about the pictures, and pictures are something else which we're going to have to cover because pictures are becoming very, very important.
Mm-hmm.
But when I first started on eBay 10 years ago, almost everyone was a private seller. There was hardly a single business seller on eBay. And this is getting back to the excitement of surfacing the products from these small sellers, these small private sellers, that I think eBay may have lost a little bit over the years, that it has got a bit too much like retail therapy on the high street. And the excitement of that one-off item is missing. But now, if you've got a particular interest, it might be your pop group, it might be your hobby, it doesn't matter what it is. You could be collecting blacksmith's vices or hammers or whatever. But they're going to show you that one-off unusual hammer in your feed, above maybe, here's a brand new hammer that you can buy in a hardware store tomorrow.
Okay, so Chris, let's have a look at some of the other features which are on the homepage now.
Just scroll down the page a little way, because I really want to point out this menu. You'll see that once you get past the eBay header, you get a menu, the My Feed menu, which sticks with you as you go up and down the page. And the most important thing to point out there is you've always got the search bar with you, no matter how far down your feed you go.
Yeah, now that's one thing. That's one of the biggest differences. So let's just jump back to the eBay page right now. Is that the search box on the home page is quite big, and let's just jump into crafts, and let's go into a category, and the search bar is pretty big. But it's nothing which compares to the size of the search box, which is sat at the top of the page. So if I scroll back up, it's just huge. And that search box is following me wherever I go for it. And I think this just nails down how important keywords are going to be and how important the titles are going to be. Because if you've not got a good title, they're just not going to find you. And search is so prominent, it's unreal.
Yeah, and I think that eBay have looked at this very, very carefully and tried to think about, when you're looking at products like this, what are you likely to want to do? You might want to look at some featured products. You might want to look at what you've recently viewed. You might want to look at what you're watching. Or you might see something which triggers an interest. And, hey, I'm seeing this US Air Force thing. Let's do a search for US Air Force and see what else they've got out there. And it could be anything like that suddenly triggers you, and rather than have to scroll to the top of the page, it's there in your face.
Indeed. And two other points on this page as well was the one which you showed me just a couple of minutes ago, Chris, which was the legal and more is now at the bottom, and that's the traditional footer. The footer which was on the bottom of the home page before, it's still there, it's just hidden.
Very hidden. It took me ages to find it.
I didn't even spot it, to be frankly honest. And then we've also got this other option top to take us back up to the top of the page as well. We've got some other tabs. We've got featured, which are what controls these in here. Have you got an understanding of where these have come from, Chris?
I don't know what controls these, but if you've not set up your feed before, eBay have a featured feed which they will show you. So for people that haven't actually told eBay what their interests are, they won't see a My Feed button. They'll see an Edit My Feed button, and this is the featured feed, standard feed for eBay. But what I do know is eBay are looking to build some basic persona feeds. So if eBay know that in the past you bought a lot of fashion, you might see a fashion-based feed. If they know that you're into motors, you might see motor accessories and parts. If they know that you're the type of guy that is always buying garden tools and power tools and hedge trimmers and mowers, you may say a DIY home improvement type feed. So they're going to build different personas. So they've got a basic feed they can show you, even if you've not actually edited your own feed and told eBay what your interests are. And I think this is kind of first iteration. Here's a standard feed that there might be something you're interested in.
Okay. We've also got recently viewed, and fair warning was that Chris gave me, just check your recently viewed, make sure there's something in there. Which you
now he's looking at dresses, Matt.
He loves his dresses, does Matt?
Oh, I do. No, the reason why we're choosing dresses, I feel like I'm having to qualify myself, is that we needed it for the gallery images, which we'll see on the item details pages, and also my watch list, that boring little list, which was hidden in my eBay somewhere. Is that we've got massive images now. And talking of images, Chris, you raised this when we were just before the video, before the podcast, is the UK Stockman Parcel Force
Yeah, it just looks awful. I mean, you don't want images like that in your feed. It's not going to encourage me to click on it. Borders are out. Big text like that is out. Massive watermarks are out. This is all about giving me large, high-quality images to make me actually want your item. And I have to say, when I was in the States, I was fortunate enough to have an interview with Mark Cargis, who is eBay's Chief Technology Officer. Now, Mark is technology through and through, but he actually said to me, images are the most important thing. eBay know that people buy more when they see high-quality images, and they buy less from listings with low-quality images.
Well, it was to the point that they enforced the use of images, and is it all categories now?
In the US, you're not allowed to have these borders and text on your graphics. They banned that in the US already. It's still allowed in the UK. But if you're a UK seller making your items available to the US, or knowing that this is coming to the UK, one thing I can tell you, which I've not seen an official announcement on, is eBay will be suppressing some images from the feed when the image quality is too poor.
Ah, well, it makes sense because those images are massive and the quality really, really does count. So leaving the images aside for one moment, if we go back to the feed, and this is pretty cool, I'd say the least. So let's just pick on these boots. Is that sorry, Chris?
Something else I just want to add is, while you're hovering over those boots, you can see the watch button. You can actually add it to your watch list straight from your feed.
Ah, so it doesn't take you away from the page.
No, you can add it straight from the feed.
That's a good feature. It looks like they've spent a lot of time on the usability of this. It shows in how it all works and how it all ties together. It just makes it easy for the buyer.
It should add them to the watch list, but there you go. It's been disappeared now. I was thinking, where's it gone? It's disappeared from my homepage and
takes
my
a little
feed.
while to refresh.
Okay, so we've got this little expanded area which we've seen in the UK already. That when we're in gallery view, that it hovers out, and we can get the little bit extra at the bottom. But the really curious thing is that when we click on that, is that we get an overview of the product. And we also get the extra images as well. So it's like what we had before, but on steroids. It is so much better.
Yeah,
so much better.
I have to point out here, this isn't a great one, because you'll see at the bottom there's a little note that says no similar images. Now, on a lot of products I've seen, they actually show me similar images.
How's that example?
Yeah, so here's a pair of boots. Here's some more boots that look like that pair. And if you click one of those little images, you'll see that they'll now show you a pair of red boots or a pair of other colour boots. And you can actually scroll along those and have a look at other items similar to the one you just said you're interested in.
Indeed, and now just think about this for one moment. I've watched my partner, or wife now, go through eBay, and she'll make a search for a dress, for example, and then she'll go down the list, and then she holds down the control key and goes clicks and opens up a new tab, and then she'll go through tab by tab by tab by tab, look at each one of the items. And some of them she'll qualify in, and some of them she'll qualify back in the list view by looking at the extra images and seeing if it's available in a size, blah, blah, blah. But she's still going through the tabs. But this way, I can just imagine her just sat here, just spending hours. Just, yeah, I like those. Watch.
Yeah.
Like those. Don't like those. Watch. View item. Quite like those. And that's exactly what she'd do.
And what I'll say on this is these boots look like they're all from the same seller. But what I've seen on other listings is I've seen listings from different sellers in there. And this is why image quality is so important, because eBay can look at an image and say, okay, I know what that is. I can find similar items to that on eBay. And they can show you similar items. If you've got a really busy background and a really poor blurry picture and a very small picture, eBay's got no chance to show you similar items because they can't look at that picture and look at other pictures and say these pictures are similar.
Indeed.
So really important. And the other thing here is, if you've looked at something that's not really what you're interested in, you'll notice in the lower left corner there's a back button, and that'll take you back to the item that you clicked on.
That was the original item. So if I go 2 items in, 3 items, I've gone loads of items in. and I can still get back to the original item which I clicked on. Nice point. Nice point.
This goes back to the usability, isn't it? They've made it simple and easy.
And again, you've got a watch button here. You can watch this directly from this page, or you can go to the view item. But they've made it very, very easy for you to start watching things.
I look at the social links as well, yeah.
Yeah. Now, something eBay told me, and again, this came from Mark Cargis, the Chief Technology Officer for eBay, is that people who at some point have saved a search on eBay buy a lot more than people that have never saved a search on eBay.
Ah, okay, that would make sense.
Yeah.
If you think about this feed is all about saving stuff. You save your interests, you're saving stuff to your watch list. Okay, it's not saving a search, but it's all about site engagement. You're getting people to look at stuff, to browse stuff, and this is the very first time that people have been able to do any of this from the eBay homepage. I've not had to actually search for anything when I come onto eBay. It shows me what I've already told eBay I'm interested in.
I think the only one negative point, and again we're seeing some key attributes on it. So what I've noticed in my feed is that there's an awful lot of auctions in there, an absolute load of auctions in there. So we can see this ending tomorrow at 4 p.m.
There's something funny about that as well. This is a really strange one, but I found out somewhere, and I can't remember where, it wasn't in the meetings this week, that prolific buyers on eBay do actually buy more from auction than people that only buy a few items on eBay. So people are quite happy to buy from auctions, and the more experienced a buyer they are, the more likely they are to buy from an auction.
That sounds familiar. Go on.
The other thing that's really interesting is, I don't know about the US, but in the UK, I've heard so many sellers complain over the last few years that it is all about the big brands, it's all about buy it now, it's all about the big retailers. Well, guess what? This is not about the big brands and the big retailers. This is about showing me what I'm interested in, and if it happens to be an auction, it's an auction. Now, if I'm not interested in auctions, when I add items to my feed, I can specify, like you did earlier, I'm only interested in buy it now. But if I don't specify that I'm only interested in buy it now, eBay are quite happy to show me auctions because they know buyers still love auctions.
Okay.
And it's the first time in a long time, in fact, to be honest, apart from the high-profile charity auctions, it's the only time in a long time that I can remember auctions being featured on the homepage.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time on there. Well,
I'd agree with that.
The only time it'd be on there is that if it was sat in there for a recently viewed item, which there was only 2 of or whatever for it. Okay, moving on. Let's have a look at the item search pages. Now, the search pages, this is one iteration, which we've got on my screen right now, which is eBay as it probably looks for you, anybody listening to this, if they go to ebay.com and do a search for coffee machine. This is probably what it looks like for them.
This is the current gallery view. There's 2 views on eBay. There's what we call a gallery view and a list view, and this is the current gallery view. And it's quite busy at the top. It's got the categories down the side, and then it's got the products in the centre. And now we're looking at the list view, which is the same search results. It's just displayed in a different way.
Okay, and let's have a look how it looks now, or how it will look, and once the updates have come in, and that's considerably different. If I just quickly jump back and swap this around, so that's how it looks now. Note the size of that coffee machine just there, and then if we jump to the new version, it feels absolutely massive in comparison.
But they've gone from 4 products to 3 on the line, haven't they?
They have. But look at the size of those pictures and look at the detail that you can see compared to when you had 4 products.
So you get high-res image. It's going to look fantastic in this new look.
Images are becoming more and more important on eBay, and that's all there is to do it. There's some other changes on this side, like the format buttons have been moved over into the left-hand sidebar. I can now search sold listings and completed listings. My sort by and my view buttons have changed over to the right-hand side, so there's a lot changed on this page. But the important thing is, look at the size of those pictures.
Yeah. They're absolutely massive. Now, let's just go back to how the site looks right now, and we'll go to the list view, like so, and we'll jump to the other tab. And so I've compare these two tabs, one against the other. So that's how it looks now. Again, let's pick on that coffee maker just there, and it's going to have a look to see what it is going to look like once it's live on the site. And that, again, the product picture is much bigger.
It's massive, and it's all about people are buying on eBay from great pictures. They're no longer interested in searching for the title. And I can remember a time, to be honest, when eBay used to have a little logo in search next to the text title, and that logo meant that this listing has a picture.
Oh yeah, of course it didn't. Didn't it?
Wow.
There was no gallery picture. It was just a little icon, wasn't it? I
Once
completely
upon a
forgot
time,
about
there
that.
were no
I
gallery
do remember
pictures on
that
eBay.
years ago.
Gallery pictures have been with us for a long time now, and that little icon signified there was a picture, because not every listing had a picture in those days. But now you have the gallery picture, and over the last few years they've got bigger and bigger and bigger, because that's what buyers are buying from. They're not interested in your title, and especially looking at this one on the screen, they're not interested in great deal, exclamation mark, look, exclamation mark. That's a waste of time. You should be putting key search terms in there.
Mm-hmm.
What people are looking at here is that picture of that coffee machine, and they will buy off the picture. They certainly won't buy off that title.
And so, yeah, we've got two stages here, and we've covered this when we've got another podcast lined up for titles that sell. But in short, Chris, you're highlighting here is that the title is critically important so that they can find that coffee machine. But the second that they find the coffee machine, the title is completely irrelevant. And the most important thing is the picture and the quality and the size of the picture, and also back on, as we saw on our feed at the home, which has now gone to 30 new items. I've just noticed up there, is that it's about the quality of the pictures which have appeared, and if it's like a fashion item, for example, then it's having the other pictures. So essentially, the customer can make an informed choice before they've even clicked on it, whether it's worth them clicking on it or not.
Yeah, and there's
Just thinking out loud. I mean, it looks on this new feed that eBay are using white space to draw more attention to the picture. If you go, there's
a lot of white space there.
There's so much white space, which just immediately draws you to the image instead of reading titles. And although the titles are still there because of the increased picture size, there's a lot of white space, and it just makes it more appealing to look at.
But what you'll also find is eBay are defaulting more and more categories to the gallery view.
Right.
Which again, massive pictures.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
The other thing in search that's happening, in fact, there's two points I'd like to make on search that I found out while I was with the eBay guys in the US. You will start seeing some flashes that eBay will overlay over the picture on search, and it'll be things like 20% off, ending soon, newly listed, only 2 left.
Oh, will this be like, so if I go back to the home page, will this be like this little slash or sash on the left-hand side?
Yeah.
We'll be seeing them.
Similar, but all of the ones I've seen so far have been in orange, but similar to that.
Funny you should say that, because I looked at that and looked up the element in the background, which I'll do now, really boring, sorry, it's kind of me all over.
Is putting his coding hat on.
That little span, so that little green block there's one other orange one. There's no reds, there's only green and there's orange. We won't see a red one on there, because that's all they've got in their sprite at the moment for it.
And the other thing to point out is we're seeing this search pages, they look very, very different. Mm-hmm. But a key thing to point out is eBay haven't made any changes to how search works to produce these new pages. Mm-hmm. All eBay have done is change how search is displayed.
Okay, I think, is that something which they stressed during the presentation for the new eBay, that they want to panic sellers too much? Because it's quite a fundamental change to the homepage.
Quite a fundamental. Forget the homepage, because that is different.
Mm-hmm.
But the way when you search for a term on eBay, we search for coffee machine. Mm-hmm. Whether you're looking at the old eBay search or the new eBay search, it's the same products in the same order at the moment.
Okay.
Now,
so the algorithm's not changing.
The algorithm's not changed at the moment.
Yet.
Having said that, eBay are always tweaking search algorithms.
Yes, of course.
And they're always testing. They're constantly iterating search. And as we mentioned earlier, there's going to be a new Cassini search engine next year. So search will change. But the thing to draw from this really is pictures are going to be critical, whether it's gallery view, whether it's list view, whatever we're looking at in search, people are going to be clicking on the best pictures.
Okay, right, now let's move on to the next section, which is the item detail pages. Now, I've been and grabbed a couple of items. I've just find them across the top, and I'm giving a little bit away already. So let's jump up to an item here, and that one's got some useless images. Let's pick on that dress, which was much better. Excellent. So this is the new layout for the product detail page. So this is when a customer has liked, so they've made a search or found you by other means, and then come in and clicked through to the actual item detail page. And this is so different to what we've got right now. So different.
Let me start taking you through this page.
Please, please do.
First thing I noticed, you remember I mentioned the consistent eBay header? There it is again at the top of the page.
Yeah, the size of that search box, it's bigger than the logo, or big as the logo, should I say. It's massive.
Now, scrolling down just a tiny amount, look at that picture. Look how big that image is.
It's huge.
Fair enough, this is a dress, so it's always going to be a lot taller than it is wide. But look at the size of it.
It's taking up a third of the page, isn't it?
If you hover your mouse over the dress, I don't know how big the picture's here, but there you've got a mouse over to zoom. Start zooming your mouse around that image, and it is massive. And if you want, you click the image and it will open up large images, which is what we're kind of used to. But the zoom and the enlarge are huge. And this is why you need big pictures and clear, crisp pictures and no busy backgrounds. And just imagine how awful these images would look with a really great big border saying made in Britain, free shipping and whatever else you want to put on it. You've got to get rid of those if you want to win on the new eBay. People want to see the product up front and straight.
And again, I've clicked on the image, and we've got the preview layer appear, and it's overtaken my screen. It's completely, there's nothing else, whatever else is going on this page is completely irrelevant, because it's all about the product pictures. So when it's a fashion item, I can imagine my partner looking at this and then just falling in love with the dress, and she'd be sold on it, and she can see it in so many different ways. It counts.
Now, there is a bit of a downside to this, and that is, in fashion in the UK, you get free 12 images. In a lot of categories, you have to pay for your images.
You
get the first one for free, but the others you have to pay for.
Well, I can see where you're going with this, Chris. It would be a 12 pence a pop, so this seller's paid 12 pence a pop for those images. But
not in the US, because all images are free in the US.
Ah, okay. If they were in the UK, they would pay 12 pence a pop for each.
If it was
fashion,
the fashion category, clothes, shoes and accessories, they can have 12 images for free in the UK. Other categories, you have to pay for them.
Okay, but if it was a variation image
if
product,
it's variation,
you can have one.
All of the images are free.
All the first images are free for each variation.
Yeah.
And they can have 12 additional or something like that. But yeah, it could get expensive. I see where you're going with that, Chris.
But do you know what I really want?
Go on.
When this comes to the UK, cross fingers, eBay might give us free images. Now, I don't know if that's coming. I can't promise it. Don't call me on it and say Chris Dawson said we'd be having it.
Well, it's going in the post now.
You can kind of see the direction that you can see the direction that eBay are moving. Now, whether we'll get that in the UK or not, I don't know. And for the important categories like fashion and motors, pictures are already free.
Okay. Now, so the left-hand side of the page is all about product and the visual side of the product, and now the other 2/3 of the page is about the product specifics. Now, we can't miss them. Those buttons are absolutely massive. As a call to action kind of size, is that it's more of an all case, which one you're going to press. you're going to add it into your cart, or you're going to check it out with it straight away, or maybe make an offer. It's massive.
Or add it to your watch list.
Or add it to your watch list.
Look at that. Something that I've not seen for a long time. It's got 9 watches on this item.
Yeah, funny you should say that, and an awful lot of the ones which were appearing on the homepage in the feed were items which they had watches on. When you go back and look at them, let me just prove a point. So I'll just grab that one, at random, for it, and I'll click on there, and okay, I'm let down. But when you start, right, sorry.
Some nasty boots, though.
All right, let's choose some better ones. Let's choose those. Oh, hang on, that's me watching it now. View item. So there's 6 watches. There was there's 6 watches on there. That's something which I've noticed on the homepage. Is an awful lot of the items do have an awful lot of watches on them.
But again, look at the one that had no watches, and look at the quality of the picture that has watches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Okay. So let's carry on with this item. So we've got some massive action buttons in there: buy now, add to cart, make offer, or as a secondary measure.
Now, I'm going
to
put a bit of a complaint in here.
Go
on. eBay have got too many buttons and too many lists.
Mm-hmm.
Over on the top right, we've got some social sharing buttons.
Mm-hmm.
On the top left, we've got like, want, and own.
Mm-hmm.
Then we've got a watch list.
Mm-hmm.
eBay have got, and if you hover over the watch list or click the down arrow, you've got a whole load more lists.
Mm-hmm.
eBay have got too many lists. I've actually got 2 wish lists in my eBay now, because eBay added it twice. They are at some point going to have to ratify these lists and make them a bit more sensible. I don't need a watch list and a whole load of wish lists and gift lists, as well as like, want, and own lists. There's some work to be done there, I think.
Yeah, and again, it's just on a marketing aspect. It's that we want to be able to drive our customers to make an or choice, so that it's either buy it now or add it to your cart. It's either buy it now or make an offer. So they've got 2 choices. So the general concept behind this is that you would think that more choices is better, but actually in reality, limited choice is actually, it converts more highly, because you've given the customer a much limited range for them to choose from, and the choices which they can make have been limited, so they make one.
Now, can I just make a visual just thought out loud?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the size of that top-rated seller logo. It's tiny.
Yeah, it's absolutely tiny, isn't it? Can you, actually, Dave, you've not seen this page before.
I've not seen any of this, yeah.
What's missing?
Let's have a competition. What's missing? From the seller information, I'll give you a hint.
Sold by Caroline Cutes 238 star ... What's missing?
The shop.
The shop.
Bingo. Where's it gone?
The shop.
It's gone.
That's madness.
It's gone. It's not there.
The seller's other items takes you to the seller's other items in eBay list view search format.
And there's the shop button at the top.
And it's there, but it's missing.
But it's not in the listing.
Yeah, are they trying to tell us something about this? And the profile pages have been updated. We'll look at those next. So that was the shocker for me. Where's the shop icon gone?
We'll
I didn't even notice that until you sort of pointed and prodded me in the right direction there.
Now, the other thing, of course, that we're seeing here are the item specifics. Look how important they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just make a quick comparison? So I'm just going to copy the item number and then go to eBay UK. Stick the item number in. Hopefully it might work, might not. There we go. So let's have a look at this item as it is on eBay UK right now.
Mm-hmm.
Damn adverts. Yeah, adverts. Sorry, I've got turned the ad block off for today. You can see that this is where the item specifics are, and they're huge, and they've taken up maybe 3 inches or so on the screen. And if we jump back to the States version...
Jump back to the top of the eBay UK homepage, though, and look at how cluttered that centre column is.
Yeah. In comparison, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the postage, the delivery and everything, there's tons of small print there.
And again, just as I put my marketer's hat on, is that we've got something called above the fold, which is everything which we can see before scrolling. So let's keep that in our minds a moment. And that so we're offering, we can see that, but we can't see the item specifics and the other information in here. And then the other core details which are down here, we're having to scroll for it. So let's just jump back to this version. And again, in the above the fold, before I go and scroll, so that's called below the fold, is that I'm getting hints that there's more images down at the bottom. Can you see these down here? Yeah. I'm getting a hint that they're there. The item details are there. The pricing's there. And also the shipping cost and the conditions now included as well. And an ETA. And I'm being told maybe delayed or require extra fees due to customs. Mint!
And I think this is really important because I know I should read sellers' descriptions, and I'll put my hands up and say, you know what? I don't bother. If I see something like this dress, if I was a woman, it's in my size, it's the colour I want, it's the style I want, it's new with tags, I can see the shipping, I'm just going to click that Buy It Now button. I don't need to read your terms and conditions and descriptions and everything. Mm-hmm. And I will click the Buy It Now button and buy it. But something that is really cute is if you just go and click where it says new with tags, Matt, because, okay, it's new with tags, but is it in its original bag? Has it been opened? Is it shop soiled? That will jump you down to the seller's description. And that becomes really important for things like a used item or a manufacturer's refurbished or seller refurbished, because you've got an immediate jump down to the description area where you can then actually explain further. And what you'll notice here as well is we've got a brand new header appear where we've got links for descriptions, shipping and payments, seller information, Q&A.
Yeah, now, Chris, I'm just going to quickly jump on those. So we're at the description point. So if I click on shipping and payments, it actually scrolls us down the page to the shipping and payment section. The seller information, where the store link is right down the bottom, down by the Q&A. And then the questions and answers for it. And if I want to jump back to the description. Now, Chris, I didn't spot this. And can you explain to what you...
There's something killing me with this, absolute killing me. I've looked at the top of the description. Let's go back to the top because we've got this arrow on the side which will take us back up to the top, which floats.
Oh, yeah, of course, it appears over here somewhere, doesn't it?
In fact, I can't see it on this one, but normally there's an arrow on the right-hand side. But let's go back to the top of the description. Mm-hmm. So I'm now looking at this dress.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I'm loving this dress. Let's go right to the top of the page.
I'm there.
Right to the header. Now, I'm seeing this picture in the header, and it's a great picture. Mm-hmm. I like the price. It's a good price. I can see the shipping. I'm happy with it. I've got all of my details. I'm happy with it. You know, I'm almost about to buy this item, but I'm going to click on the $39 and see if there's some cheaper shipping. So if I click on the shipping, that will take me to the shipping information. Mm-hmm. And okay, so there's in this case there's not another option. So I'm now ready to buy. Where's the Buy It Now button? Why is there no Buy It Now button in that header?
It's not.
Why won't eBay let me buy this? It's the biggest mistake I can see that they've made with this listing.
Oh. No, that's not even a link.
I thought that was a link.
No, it's not a link. It's
eBay, what are you doing?
There's no Buy It Now. They've let me get excited and go digging to find out more information, and I'm lost.
Unless I can scroll all the way back to the top.
Unless I can scroll to the top. But you know what? I don't even know this is a scrollable page because all I've done is click shipping and payments, and it's opened up a new page for shipping and payments. It doesn't tell me I've scrolled.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what the average internet user might do is that they might press back.
Click the back button, yeah.
But that's not going to help. Don't press back. That won't help me.
Exactly. So, didn't previously that we used to have a Buy It Now button or bid button further down at the bottom of the listing?
There used to be one at the bottom, but you know what? I don't care about the old listing. Mm-hmm. I care about this, and I would love to have a Buy It Now button or a Place a Bid button or an anything button.
Yeah, just make that Buy It Now in the blue box and make it clickable.
Yeah, up here on the top right-hand side, so that it's on the right-hand side of the page. Make it big, just the size as what. So let's keep that in mind. So let me just scroll back up to the top. So we got that Buy It Now button. It's huge. Yeah. So keep that in your mind, and then And then when we get down to the item details, is that we need that up there. Well, in fact, we probably didn't want to know in eBay. They need the watch option as well for it. But
Forget the watch option. Just let me buy it.
yeah, stick the buy option up there on the right-hand side, because again, it needs to be on the right-hand side of the page so that it feels like the customer's flowing forwards for it as well. So yeah, I didn't spot that, and yeah, it's insane that it's not there.
I just presumed that was hyperlink. That buy it now little phrase at the top
It's
near
just
the
the price
price.
of a picture. It's like irrelevant. It means nothing. I can find out more about it with the description. I can find out the shipping. I can find out the seller information. I can find out a question and answers that have been answered, but I can't buy the item once I've come from the top of the page.
Yeah,
I was just saying how good a usability it was.
I wouldn't mind if I'd scrolled down the page, but I'm not scrolling. I'm clicking links. Like I'm clicking, okay, $39. Let me check if there's a cheaper shipping. I might want it faster. I might want to pay more for shipping. And when I find that the shipping's okay, I can't buy it now anymore. And that is the biggest and only fault I've got, to be honest. Apart from things like the store link being missing and top-rated seller logo being a bit smaller, I just want me to buy it now button to come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you just hit the nail on the head, and I'll knock up a mock as well to go onto the blog as well. Okay, so there's something that's another big change as well. And maybe Chris, you can lead us to where this might be taking us, and that's to do with the what we know as the My World page, that really pointless page on the UK site. So if I click on its man or woman's page, it looks like this, and it's completely pointless. And I think that's a standard bit of text which they stick in, and no branding on it at all.
You know what? A long time ago, eBay tried a social media experiment called My World. And you may remember, if you've been on eBay long enough, that you had My Blogs, and you could actually have some content on your My World page.
That was right.
Well, I'm afraid they scrapped the blogs. They didn't really understand them. It was no use because you couldn't put any outside links on your blog, so you couldn't actually link to anything interesting. So they scrapped them, got rid of them. And they've been left with this My World page, which, to be honest, it's got your detailed seller ratings and some feedback on it, and it's got some links and a couple of listings, and you can get a bit of text on there. But quite frankly, it's the most boring page on eBay, and I hate it. Mm-hmm. The number of times I've clicked to check someone's feedback and clicked their name by mistake because the name used to link to the feedback, and now it links to the My World page, and then I go and click the feedback.
Yeah, they're one of the most pointless pages. Now, they've been and revamped this, and I've got it in one of the tabs here somewhere.
And the first thing to realise is it's no longer called My World, it's called Profiles.
Indeed. So we've got that loaded up. And oh, look, it's got individual like and Google Plus buttons on the right-hand side.
Cute. It's cute.
Oh, yeah.
It looks better already.
It's a better layout at the top. It's clearer, sharper. And it's got things I'm selling. And guess what? It's big pictures again.
Indeed. So we've got a smaller profile page which we can customise like the previous one, but we've got a dear size and the same kind of information. But look at that. So once I click on there, does that take us to... that takes us to... No, it doesn't take us to the shop. Even though the seller's got a shop.
It's a search.
It's a search to their seller's other items.
They really don't like in the shop, are they?
No, it's a bit of a kick in the knackers. That's a bit of a shock.
I have to say as well, I didn't get a chance to play with this in the States, so I didn't get an awful lot of time to be told about, or to ask the question, what happened to shops, because I didn't realise it was missing. But there's a big question there as why aren't they letting people go to seller shops so easily?
Yeah, it seems to be. So yeah, we've got one little link over there, which is just hiding on the bottom of my screen. We've got a link there. But we still got the logo next to their ID, but it's still missing off the item page. I think the shops have had a bit of a kick, to say the least, in the updates. But besides, that's the only thing which I can point and go, well, besides the buy button as well. But that it's had a bit of a kick in for it, so it's curious to see what they're going to do with that in the future. So, Chris, what do you think this means for sellers in 2013 when this rolls out to the UK?
Well, the first thing and the only thing that matters is if you've not got great pictures, you've got to get them fixed. And that's pictures for the feed, pictures for the search, pictures for your My World or your seller profile. pictures for the item page, they are going to be the most important thing on eBay. But what I want to just think about is we don't know when this is going to come to the UK, and we don't know how much development there's going to be by the time it comes to the UK.
Oh, Chris, you've hit a nail on the head as well. Is that, just to point out here, is that we're based in the UK, and the Americans on the .com site have got this live, and they're beta testing it for us. So when it hits the UK, is that we should be getting a revamped version of it after it's been use tested on the .com site.
So let me give you a schedule. Currently, 10% of US users have already been given the feed. That will ramp up to 100% over the next 100 days, so pretty much to the end of the year. From then on, it will at some point roll internationally. Now, I don't know when it'll come to the UK, but eBay are pretty excited about this, so it's going to be coming soon. But the other thing to remember is this is the first iteration. Now, where I'm getting really excited is at the moment, if I find something of interest, I've got to keep going back to the homepage to add it to my feed. So what I'm thinking is I do a search on eBay for some random thing that I'm interested in. I see a load of great products. At what point will eBay add a add to feed button on a search page? I then find an item that I like, and maybe I'm collecting something. I mean, I don't know what I could be collecting, but say I'm collecting stamps, and I see a Queen's Golden Jubilee stamp. At what point can I click a add to feed button on that stamp? And it won't add that stamp, but it will add more Queen's Silver Jubilee stamps to my feed.
Because it's understood the context.
It's understood the context. You might search for a little black dress because you seem to like dresses. I know, Matt. I know they're for your wife, but you might search and find some little black dresses on eBay, and say, I like this particular dress. And eBay looks at it and it says, okay, it's a little black dress. It's in this size. It's this shape. Maybe it's an off-the-shoulder number. Maybe it's an armless dress. Maybe it's a long-arm dress. But they look at that dress and that image and say, okay, we know what type of dress that is. Let's show you more of that type of dresses in your feed. So you look at a particular dress and say, I like this dress, add it to my feed. And it doesn't add that item. It adds similar items to that to your feed.
Based upon the style of the item. And the other one is size. And again, when it comes to sizing, I'm size 9 or 10. Well, so I say 9 or 10, depending on the shoe. But
currently, there's no size attributes available in your feed. So I'm guessing that's something that's got to come, because there's no point showing me a pair of size 4 boots because I'm a size 10.5. Exactly. So I'm guessing that is to come. But that's one way I see the feed evolving. And the other way is what happens when they go social with it. What happens when they allow you to see my feed and me to see your feed, or me to suggest things to you for your feed and you to just suggest things to me for my feed? What happens when it's my birthday, which, by the way, anyone that wants to buy me a birthday present, 17th of January, just after Christmas, I'll get that in now.
Nice plug in there.
We've had people plug products, but never birthdays before.
just in case feeds go social by then and you can see what I'm looking for at that. What happens when it's my birthday and my family can go and look at my feed and look at the type of things that I've told eBay I'm interested in, so that they can buy me something, not that product, but something of that ilk for my birthday.
So a highly specialised and highly personalised feed, or the lists which we've got on Amazon. Amazon, you pick a wish list where you picked a specific product in there. This could be customised to you. So buying a Christmas present for my brother, which is an absolute nightmare, is that if I could see his eBay feed, I could see what he's interested in, which probably includes dresses from his partner as well. But you have a fair idea what he's been looking for.
It could be something like, for instance, I could like, I don't know, I've actually got a couple of remote control airplanes. You probably had no idea that I've got a remote control airplane, but
I didn't.
You might suddenly be inclined in January to buy me a birthday present, and you look at my feed and you see I'm watching model aeroplanes, and you think, you know what, I'll buy him a new model aeroplane for his birthday. But you never knew I was interested. And if you think of grandparents for their grandchildren and their children, Brothers and sisters. I mean, I'm middle-aged now, and my brother and sister are growing up. I don't really know what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. I don't really know what music they're into, or what technology they've got, or what their interests are. But if I could have a little look at their feed, if they shared their feed with me, I could actually dig down and like, oh, I didn't know he was interested in that. I'll get him one of them for Christmas or for his birthday.
Okay. So eBay are rolling this out really, really quickly, and I mean quickly.
Yeah.
In the States at the busiest time of the year. So the 100 days is, in other words, we'll have it live for everybody by Christmas. So you're having it whether you like it or not. The question is, do we got any inclination we might see it in the UK? Do you reckon it'll be in the spring updates, or do you reckon it'll hit us in the autumn updates?
Well, it's not going to come in the updates. That's the first thing to realise. This is not a seller update. This is a separate site update. And the important thing to realise is this is all about buyers. It's not to do with sellers at all.
Okay, so let's just clarify that. So from a seller's perspective, we're used to getting 2 updates a year, once in the spring and once in the autumn. And you're saying here this is a buyer update.
This is outside of those updates.
Okay.
There are some things for sellers to be aware of, as we've seen, pictures, images, but pretty much this doesn't change how you list on eBay, how search works, how you sell. This is all about getting products in front of buyers. And the really exciting news is, I think, this can benefit small sellers much more than large sellers. Because those unique products, the things that I'm interested in, quite frankly, I'm probably not going to find from an outlet. Outlets have some great products, don't get me wrong. I bought tons off the outlets. But this is going to surface the more unusual products, because I've got some quite unusual interests. And I'm going to be adding things to my feed that I'm interested in. And the chances are, unless I'm interested in loads and loads of fashion and a few tools, and maybe some TVs, some cameras, and some DVD players, the chances are the products that I'm interested in aren't going to come from outlets. They're going to come from the smaller independent sellers with that unique inventory. And I think that's really exciting, because I've heard lots of sellers over the years saying, collectible sellers, for example, saying eBay never highlight antiques on the homepage. It's all about the outlets. Well, guess what? This isn't about the outlets. It's not about the antiques or the collectibles. This is personal. This is about what I'm interested in. And if you happen to be a seller of the stuff that I'm interested in, I'm going to see your stuff. I'm going to see the products that you're selling.
Yeah, so in many ways it's going to be a huge benefit to businesses who have the right products, and it's going to get the right customers and get the right products in front of the right customers, and it's going to become highly specialized and highly personalized as well. So taking it from that pointless homepage which we've got at the moment, which has let's just make the point on this. Let's just go to the eBay homepage right now. And like you said, Nectar, big issue, needs an article written on it. But we've got a homepage takeover for Nectar points, or I think Dave, you was Soul Trader, which were on there earlier this week.
Yeah, Soul Trader on there earlier
and
this week.
Dabs have had it recently. There's been loads of big companies doing a homepage takeover.
Okay.
And so that's great if you happen to be after the products that they want. But
indeed, but
it's only a
page.
limited number of companies that are going to be there, and the chances are it's going to be stuff I'm not interested in.
Indeed. So let's go from that screen, which is what eBay wants me to see, to this page, which is what I want to see.
Or I'll just change that slightly as well.
Go on.
This page that eBay want you to see because it's what you want to see.
Aha, indeed. Now that does raise the question, has feature first gone, because we'll start seeing featured adverts or items down there on the right hand side, and that's probably a conversation for a completely different day for it, because again, go on.
I'm willing to bet that there has been some huge uproar in eBay. I mean, I know that there's an advertising team in eBay that sell adverts on eBay.
Yeah.
Their revenue's just gone from the homepage. There are no adverts on the homepage.
So like the Sky advert, the free advert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon there's been uproar in eBay over this. I know the outlets, the team that support the outlets, have been able to support them by getting them homepage coverage. Don't know what they pay for it. They may pay nothing, they may pay an absolute fortune, but the one thing it guarantees them is a lot of sales.
Those homepage takeovers, you're talking in the tens of thousands, just to give you a clue.
But that revenue's gone.
Yeah.
whichever team was making that revenue, and it doesn't matter whether it's the cost of it or the amount of sales it got the outlet, but that revenue has gone. That's how important eBay feel this feed and this homepage is, and this personalization and showing me stuff that I say I want to buy, as opposed to eBay showing me stuff that they think I might want to buy.
It's a refreshing change, isn't it, from a company which looks like it's clearly willing to cut what would be an obvious source of profit,
yeah,
in order for a better user experience.
And it's not just a better user experience, it's better revenue, because let's say they're showing me an outlet that's got a load of computer stuff this week. They got some really good laptop deals or tablet deals, whatever it happens to be. There are some people that will be in the market for a tablet and will buy it that week.
Yeah.
But you know what? I may buy one laptop a year, and it may not be that week that I'm in the market for a laptop.
Well, I got lucky last week when I had to buy a couple of monitors, and they were on the daily deals, and that was just total fluke.
But it's only a small section of people that are in the market for that product at that time.
Yeah.
This is now showing everyone products that they're in the market for at the time they're in the market for them.
I think that's a massive point there.
They're showing me stuff that I could quite happily buy. And you know what? I've been going through my feed day after day after day ever since I started it in the States. And there is always stuff that I'm adding to my watch list now.
Which again brings us back to the point about the number of watchers.
It's going to go up.
They're encouraging you to watch it.
It's going to go up, I think.
Yeah.
But the important thing is, it's only going to work if you've got great images. And I think that's the biggest takeaway.
The takeaway point, yeah.
If you've got great images, you're going to sell more.
Absolutely. Right.
And I think, just to demonstrate that one final time, Matt, have you got that image of the Samsung Galaxy we were looking at earlier?
Oh, I
have
do.
you still got that listing open?
It's in one of these tabs. There we go. There's kind of worst case scenarios. This is an item which ended earlier.
So this is the type of image that just ain't going to work on eBay. And I'm sorry, but you've got to do better. And it doesn't matter what the product is. This probably it's sold for £282, but it's sold because it's Samsung Galaxy 3.
Because it was a desirable item. So
it's a desirable item.
And it looked like it was attached to the catalogue as well. Yeah.
But you know what? If you've got a unique item and that is the size of your image, where's the zoom? It doesn't even... Look how ridiculous it looks on that lovely, huge gallery size.
It's monstrous.
It just doesn't work. So, and there you are. They can take decent-sized images, but they've used some stock image off a catalogue somewhere. It isn't good enough for eBay. It doesn't work. And this is the type of image, that little small one is the type of image that means you will not sell as much as the next person.
Yeah.
So, for example, you take that off a Galaxy S3, which sells itself, and stick it on a generic laptop or tablet.
Yeah.
You're immediately going to be hit hard by that.
Even worse, let's say you're selling branded boots, and you just take the branded boot image off their catalogue, and it happens to be a small image, and you stick it on eBay, and it ends up looking like that sort of size. Because you've taken a thumbnail from somewhere. You've got to make sure that you've got massive images. And I think the recommended eBay image size is now like 1600 pixels by 1600 pixels.
Wow.
So we're not talking sort of 300, 400, 500 pixels. We're talking 1600 pixels by 1600 pixels.
Which is huge in the web standards. Well, it's massive.
Absolutely it is massive, but that's the type of quality picture that is going to sell on eBay.
Okay, cool. Right. Chris, let's wrap that up there because we've been talking for about an hour and 20 minutes. Okay, so big question, where can people find more about you?
People can find me more about myself on tamebay.com, and that's tamebay.com. Tamebay.com is where I've been blogging with colleagues for the last 6 years, and we pretty much cover all of the eBay, Amazon, and e-commerce and small business news that you could ever want in the UK or around the world.
Second that as well. It's a massive resource. Chris, thank you ever so much for your time this evening to give us such an in-depth view and insight to the changes coming to eBay UK sometime next year. And also Dave for joining us too. Thank you ever so much,
Always
Dave.
a pleasure. Just want to say thanks to you as well, Chris. I've learned a lot in this podcast. It's exciting times ahead for eBay.
I was fortunate to be able to go to the States to find out more about this, and I have to say I am just absolutely over the moon. One thing I would say is eBay has been pretty static from a buyer perspective for the last, well, probably 17 years.
Yeah, that's for sure.
This is one hell of a change that's coming down the road. It's going to make a huge difference to the way that people buy on eBay. And you know what? When someone buys, someone sells.
Exactly. And let's leave it on that note. Thank you ever so much, Chris, and thank you ever so much for Dave, and thank you ever so much to you for taking the time to either listen in to us on iTunes, or maybe on YouTube, or maybe straight off the site at lastdropofink.co.uk. I'm Matt, over and out.